You know, when we bought the Geo Pro, we did that first trip that was about 10,000 miles. We really didn't use it much after that first trip that was 10,000 miles. I mean, we've used it, don't get me wrong. About a year after we got the Geo Pro, I ended up with this truck. It was my dad's truck. I've kind of graduated from having to pull that little trailer. Having the Geo was good because I'd never really towed before, and it was great to learn. The Geo with the SUV had a great turn radius. You could get out a lot of spots. And then when I started pulling the Geo with the truck, of course, the truck has a terrible turn radius. So even though the trailer was the same length, it was definitely not the same. But now that I've been pulling the Geo with the truck for a while, I thought I was ready. So I went ahead and we're gonna sell the Geo. We're gonna pull out our batteries and stuff like that and sell the Geo. And at this point, I don't care what I get out of it within reason. So we went ahead and picked up a used Jayco 2010 Jay Flight, 29 foot. So it's in pretty decent condition. There's a few little scrapes on it, but nothing to worry about. It has a little damage here when somebody put the slide out, and they apparently weren't paying attention. I have to take care of that up there. That's gonna be an easy fix. I'll just caulk it and then put that tape over it. It'll be fine. But on exterior, that's it. The roof is solid. That's the other damage is right there. They got a little bit of a crinkle right there, but it's not bad. Probably more noticeable now because it's dirty. Of course, as usual, decals are all, cracking, but that's to be expected. But when you go inside, it's fairly clean. I'll show you that a little later when we get back to Delta. But it's 29 feet. It sleeps 8. So a lot more space than what we had. I got to get all this stuff out of here, and I'm going to show you what I got, why I did it, and maybe I'll start making videos again of camping. So here it is. Paid 11 grand. Of course, they had these flagpoles in. They're starting to pull out, and there is caulk around here, but that's not good. I'm gonna just drill these out, get rid of it, and figure out how to fix that before it causes damage. Tons of room in the pass-through. It's about the same this way, maybe a little bit more, maybe an inch or so, but of course this camper is wider, so you got a lot more that way. There's a few little these guys. That's not cracked. The aluminum's not cracked, it's just pushed in. I might try pulling that out with like a dent puller or something, but that's just cosmetic. It's got this whole area under here. Now, it doesn't have a ladder on the back, but I've ordered me a telescopic ladder that will fit perfectly in that area. So I'd rather have that anyway because, I can use it anywhere around the top of the camper. I don't have to just crawl up the back. The tires are good. They are a couple years old, but they seem fine now. They don't seem dry rot. I do have a spare. I'm gonna run them and just keep an eye on them. I think they're fine. Let's go inside. Excuse the mess. Like I say, I've started moving stuff. I got the fan moved here because that's the only place it would go. You get the idea. It's just ridiculously huge. Plenty of place to store stuff here. I went ahead and bought myself for $150 a 43-inch TV and a mount, which we can just pull it off. You will want to take it off because it won't clear the slide, but the 43-inch TV fits perfectly right there. So this is how we mounted it. He already put some stuff in here to hold the TV. I just made some adjustments, but in any case, I got he had just put 2 bolts through and put 2x4s on the back side. Didn't need this one, but it was already there. Then I got one of these from Walmart. It holds up to like 120 pounds, which is plenty. You can't leave the TV on it anyway, but it's too long to fit in there, so I just used a metal chop saw and chopped it off here and around the edge with a grinding wheel. Sprayed it with some spray paint. But I'm gonna get some extra cords, extra length on the cord, so I can just take this off and a quick disconnect for the antenna cable. But it just goes up pretty easy. That's it. Just stuff the cords behind it. just uses the headphone jack, and I just ran the headphone jack into the aux. There's an aux port on the back of this system here. So of course this camper, it's kind of central air, so it's an overhead AC just like the Geo, but they also have ducting that goes throughout. And if you want to just use all that duct work, you shut these. And so then it's basically central air. And then heat is central that way as well. And there's a vent in the bathroom. And I like this. This is basically kind of what we added to the Geo Pro. You know, when the AC is not running, it can turn the fan off. Because any of these that blow the air out from the roof like this are very, very loud. It's nice when the compressor's off, you can turn the fan off. And so this kind of works like the add-on that we put on the Geo Pro, which is marvelous because, again, you don't have to constantly hear that loud fan going non-stop continually. Now obviously if it's really, really hot, or like right now we got the doors open going in and out, so it's going more. We have the fan cycle off with the compressor, and then we use a nice quiet fan to move the air when that main fan is off. Overall, that just works better. Geo Pro comes with this really Mickey Mouse antenna, this little disc kind of antenna. It doesn't work very good, quite honestly. So what I ended up doing was I got this. I'm going to let this go with the camper. This can record video, but it also has a signal strength meter, and it has simple program guides on each channel to show what that channel is going to do. But the nice part is, because the antenna that came with the Geo is so pathetic, this will at least help you tune the signal in with that signal finder a little better. And then I have a switch. You can bypass and go from the antenna right to the TV the way it was, or you can go from the antenna right to the box. So the reason I do that is if you're running solar and you want to use the least amount of power completely, you would just run the antenna right to the TV. I also added these lights, which I'm going to take these off and take them with me. I fixed the speakers because these weren't wired in stereo, so I wired it so they are stereo. And then if you want the outside to be on, you throw a switch and it'll take and turn it to where just this speaker on and send this speaker out to the outside, so you have your outside speaker. But now it's stereo inside, so that's been fixed. But this, I'm going to just leave. I don't need it. I'm not going to need it with the Jayco, and I'll show you why. This is the antenna that comes on the other camper. I don't need to have a signal finder. It picks up the signal so much better. It picks up 22 channels here, which I couldn't get on the other. You can see the guide just like that DVR box that I added to the other camper. And so really this is all on the TV, other than it doesn't record. I didn't get it for that. I got it for signal strength, and the guide was cool, but I mainly got it for signal strength, which this antenna pulls in so well, I don't need it. Another thing was the Geo Pro came with the Wi-Fi Ranger. It's got wimpy antennas, and other than the fact that it's outside and up in the air a little bit, it's not like you're going to be above trees, because your camper is only 11 feet tall. And the only reason I found as a benefit to having the Wi-Fi Ranger was that I could configure my TV and my Alexa and all those things to talk to my Wi-Fi Ranger, and then I would just tell the Wi-Fi Ranger to connect to either even my cell phone as a hotspot or the local Wi-Fi as a hotspot. And it just allowed it so I didn't have to reconfigure all of my devices. They could all just talk to the Wi-Fi Ranger, and then I would just make the Wi-Fi Ranger be the main source of connection. And it was handy though, so for like my Roku and my Alexa and stuff like that, I didn't have to reprogram those every time. I just set up the Wi-Fi Ranger. So honestly, this will do the same thing. It's gonna pick up just fine. This will talk to my phone and then repeat that to all my devices in the trailer, say the TV, the Alexa, and all that. And then if I want to, I can connect to this and connect it to a local hotspot. You get the idea. So this was 30 bucks. It's a TP-Link. I just bought the cheapest one I could get my hands on because That's all you need. This doesn't have Bluetooth, it doesn't have a remote, but it doesn't really matter. I can stream my phone right to the TV.
I'm good. He was shot the night of his murder.
And that's on the speakers right here, which works fine. Right now, my phone has got 2 bars because Verizon sucks here, and the cell phone is acting as the router. The TP-Link is acting as a range extender. I've got this TV in here, and they're just streaming through Pluto and the Roku. And then, Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 6:47 p.m.
So with that configuration, all the devices are set to talk to the TP-Link. Now, say we go to a different location and I don't want to use my cell phone, or I want to use Robin's cell phone. I just configure the TP-Link to extend the range of Robin's cell phone, Wi-Fi, hotspot, whatever it may be, just like you would with the Wi-Fi Ranger that's on the Geo Pro. But this was $30 and it's going to work just as well. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to get the Battleborn batteries moved over from my Geo Pro, because that's going to go away over here. So just like when I did the install on the Geo Pro, I went ahead and got these guys. This is really easy to do it this way so that you're not having to reinvent the wheel. And then I take the connectors that were from the original batteries and just run them to these posts. I don't know why they're this color, but that's what they are. So this is negative and these two are positive. So not sure why, but that was how it was wired when I got it. So anyway, what I got to do now is go underneath, pull this down so I could get under there. It's got 2 layers. It's got the plastic like the Geo Pro does, and then it has this extra layer of stuff just to help protect it, I guess. I've got to measure to figure out where I have to drill the holes. So that should be pretty easy to do. Once I know where the beams are, I can just drill from up above and then just run the wires out and connect them, and I should be good. I'm going to put it under the bed. Hopefully you can see that. So there's a beam right there. We don't want to drill where that beam's at. So the tape is touching that beam, and it's roughly 33 inches. From right there to right there is 27 inches. And that is coming down right about here. So it's 33 plus 7, so 40 inches. So 40 inches back is roughly where that beam is going to be. Let's see. We know it's about 27, and then by the time we, oh, that's only about an inch. So 28 inches. So if that's about 28 inches, the other beam is right about here. So 28 plus 12 inches is 40. So I can put the cords coming up anywhere right there. I can drill through and we're good. I think I'm going to put this over here, and then that way if I need to add more batteries, I can just, fill this up with batteries. Not that I probably ever would, but if I leave enough room here, if I measured everything right, that beam should be nowhere near this, and we should be good. Alright, we have a hole. I need to poke a hole. I need a knife. That's what I need. I'm going to get a knife and shove a knife through there. I've got to get through that plastic barrier. Here we go. Okay. There it is. Now I've got me a clothes hanger here. Now, will I be able to... Come on. I don't know if this is going to work or not. All right, let's see what we got. don't know if you can see it. There's the clothes hanger right there, right in reach. Come on, get this up here. There we go. Put that so it doesn't pull through. Now I'm going to push the wire through a little.
You didn't know if you want to look at it and check it out before we...
Okay.
So, wire is ran, and what I'll do is I will take that thing, and I can see, you can see some light there. So I will move that out of the way a little bit, and I will fill that with some spray foam. Let's go ahead and hook these up. I'll make them pretty later. And this one. And I can stuff some of this wire back underneath too. More back along the tongue. They're nice and tight, everything nice and tight. Now let's go back inside. That's good enough for now. The heater switch, which I probably will never use. I bought these batteries with a heater, but I've never needed it. Anyway, I'm gonna just keep it in here. I'm not gonna make it accessible from the outside. Anyway, these are not the correct wires. I've got bigger wire coming that's gonna be the same gauge as this. But somehow I managed to forget to order it. So I'm using these in the meantime. So we basically have the negative here coming around into the switch. It goes into the shunt. And then from the shunt, it goes to the negative lead here. That negative lead connects to there because we're running in parallel because it's only a 12-volt system. And then I've got the positive leads connected. Again, I'm going to change these wires here out with this kind of wire. And then I've got the main positive wire that goes out to the front of the camper right there. I have the heater wire connected between these two terminals right there and right there. And then the switch connects to one terminal here on this battery and then to the positive from this battery. And then also I have the power for the shunt. You're going to have the shunt come into the negative on the closest battery to it, and then on the opposite battery is the positive. So just keep that in mind. They're ran in parallel. You're going to draw positive and negative for your mains is going to be from the opposite batteries. So that's how that works. And I think that's it. I'm going to put some screws in there, but it's all ready to go. We're right now at 13 volts. I've been using the batteries to power the other camper while I was working on it because there's no power out there where that other camper's at. And so I'm going to put the key in and throw the switch. So here we go. Right now you're going to see, as soon as I throw the switch, you're going to see the converter start sending it power. So now the converter is charging these batteries. Now keep in mind this converter is not going to be designed for lithium batteries. So it's not going to charge it to the full 14.2 volts. Now on the Geo Pro, I did have a solar panel and it did have a lithium compatible charge controller. So when I put it in lithium mode, the solar panel would top the batteries clear off to the 14.2 volts. I will deal with that when I get home. I still have the 100-watt panel that I pulled off the Geo. I would have to get a charge controller. I'm honestly not sure I'm going to mess with that. I can get a lithium battery charger for about $150 to keep it topped off. And what I think I'm ultimately going to get is a DC to DC charger from my truck. So in other words, the batteries would be charging when I'm running on a generator, or when I'm plugged into shore power, or when I'm connected to the truck. I don't know that I'm going to worry about putting solar on this camper. I really haven't been that impressed with needing solar. For our needs, if you're going to need AC, you're running a generator anyway. So what's the point? Maybe if you lived full-time off the grid, but not for how we use the camper. We use about 33% a day, and of course the solar would put some of that back to about the 20% mark. So by the end of a 3-day period of time, we were still pretty good, unless we really just got careless and just wasted electricity. I can run the truck. If I had a 50 amp DC to DC converter from the truck, I could literally run that truck for a half hour a day and put 300 watts back into the batteries. So I'm not sure that it's beneficial. I may change my mind on that and go ahead and maybe stick another 200 watt panel on top or something like that, instead of going with buying just the battery minder for a lithium battery to keep it topped off to the 14.2 volts. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but at this point, this is all we need. The batteries, once they're charged, will run 3 days without power. We can be fine for 3 days without having any power at all. So that's enough for our needs currently. We'll figure it out as we go. But there we go. We're getting it charged up, and I have a battery bank installed on my new camper now. So that's all there is to it, guys. Yep, you're good. It did it. Okay. $12,850 because he already gave me a $50 deposit.
again.
Have a
It's
good-
nice meeting you.
Have fun journeys.
All right.
Have funner journeys than I did.
I'm sure you had some good times.
Oh, we did, but it was like when it started out with so many bad issues initially out the door. If you watch that initial trip, I mean, it was like, oh my God, it was like
You were pulling your hair out.
it was. Like,
You have less hair now than you did.
but yeah, now it's definitely got its shake through done. Have fun.
Thanks, man.
There goes, pulling out, heading down the road. See ya! So that was Mark. He's watched all my videos about that camper, so he knew what he was getting. And he offered me a lowish price, and I took it. So I listed it on Facebook for $17,000. I said, give me any offer. And like typical Facebook fashion, most of those people don't know how to make offers. So they missed out on an opportunity. He's seen all my videos, so he knew exactly what he was getting. I felt comfortable selling it at the price I did to him for the kind of camper it is. Because the biggest issue I had with this camper was out the door, it had a lot of issues. It really wasn't this Rockwood quality as some of the other videos on YouTube used to say, the best just keeps getting better. And there was a lot of engineering design flaws that I had to fix. And so it wasn't any better than any other camper of that size. There was nothing to justify their price tag of what, $30,000 now? They're not worth $30,000. Don't do it. Buy one used. This guy knows exactly what I did with this camper. He watched all the videos. He offered me $12,900 and I took it. I paid $11,000 for this 29 footer. It is a 2010. I've had to do a few small repairs out the door that I knew about, and I also want to paint the roof because it's 14 years old. By the time I got done having insurance on both campers overlapping, because I wasn't going to uninsure that one until it sold. By the time I got done licensing and paying taxes for this camper, also getting the other camper ready to sail, like putting the brand new tires on it and things like that, and the upfront 5% finance fee that I had to do a cash advance off my credit card, so I had the $11,000 to buy this camper, it would put me over 12 grand. So I knew that if I could get anywhere in the $12,000 to $13,000 area, I was just gonna say yes, period. I felt that with all the upgrades, the Geo Pro is worth it for that price if somebody wants a small camper, with all the upgrades and fixes and all the stuff I had to do to it. But I would never buy that camper new, ever. Honestly, I would never buy any new camper. We went and looked at some new RVs. They're built so bad. So bad. I mean, don't buy new. Just don't do it. After, they were bad before, but after COVID, it's like you're getting pure garbage. There's nothing you can buy new now that's even worth considering. Just don't do it. Do your due diligence, buy a used camper, make sure it's what you want and it's solid and has no real issues, and you're going to be way better off. And also expect to do all the work yourself, because any of these RV shops, at best they're paying some guy minimum wage that barely knows how to swing a hammer or turn a screwdriver or anything like that, and they're going to do a garbage job. So if you buy a camper, buy used, and expect that you will be the one working on it. And if you get it at a reasonable price, used, that's a lot of money you got towards repairs. I mean, a new Geo Pro is, like I said, about 30 grand. There is If you buy a Geo Pro for $12,000 to $13,000, like I just sold mine, you've got a lot of window in there for repairs. Oh, the other thing I did is I made the claim on the axle before I sold it. So that's on its way. So he's getting a brand new axle. Because in classic fashion, while they want to brag about how great all the things are that they put on these Rockwood Geo Pros, most of it is garbage. The Wi-Fi Ranger is not great. The axles were junk. That's why it's a silent recall. I'm gonna be honest, it's a silent recall on the axles, just the exact same way it was a silent recall on that garbage Dometic toilet.